Hey, it's Emily with Heartfelt Creations, and I just wanted to share some techniques that will help you with your intricate die cutting. I don't know about you, but so many crafters are emailing in and saying, oh my gosh, I can't get a die to work. So I'm going to share some of those secrets with you today using a very narrow and intricate die. We're going to follow that with some coloring using a very intricate image. These products are all coming out of the Italiana Riviera collection. Yes, you heard me right. That was Italiana Riviera. If you like, I would love it if you would say that really fast 4 times, record yourself doing it, share it with us on Facebook. That would be awesome. So join me, we'll learn some of these techniques together and get you on the right path to using those intricate dies. I'm using the intricate border from the Italiana grape clusters, and you'll see on the back that there are actually 2 separate pieces. So before we get started, I just wanted to show you some of the beautiful cards you can create just using this border. So here are just a couple, and I'll show you some more later on. But before we get started, I just wanted to show you really quickly how to properly put this die through your machine. So say you have a large card base that you want to create, just take some tape and adhere this die to the end of your card base, basically wherever you want it to cut out. Now the next step, if you put this die through this area of the machine, you are doing it a little bit differently, and you're doing that because you think your card base needs to go into this direction. So we'll see what happens. Actually, I've discovered what happens, and it's kind of not the best result. So we'll show you what happens. So I'm using the grand caliber since that is a little bit wider. These are 8 1/4 by 11 plates. So run that through. Bring this right back out. And when I lift this up, you'll see that just one area is cut and the rest doesn't look like it's cut. That's because there's the most pressure on the edges, and the roller only hit it once because those rollers go in this direction and your die was in the same laying in the same spot. So when running this die through your machine, it is very important that you have it going in this direction, the opposite way of your roller. So it needs to go through this way. So if you have a machine that is not this wide, you need to trim down your card base and attach it like I did on this card. I just had little flaps that I adhered on the back. So let's see what happens when we run it through this way. So this is now on the very edge of the plate. My card is faced the other way, and we'll run this through. This die is also now in the position of where the blades give the most pressure. So we'll run that through and cut that out, and you'll have a completely different experience. Sometimes with this die you might need to use a little bit extra shims or a piece of paper on top to get a little bit thicker. So let's see how that worked out. You'll see that there's just a little bit of a spot in the center yet, so that does mean we do need some shims, okay? Typically, when you're using a new die, you do need to, or an intricate die, you need to have some shims. So, if you have that happen, just add a piece of paper on the top, run that through your machine, and that will just cut that right out. So once you get to kind of know your intricate die, you will very quickly know how much shimming that you need to do. Obviously, if you have a hand crank machine, it cranks a little bit harder. This is where your girl muscles grow a little bit, so it's an exercise for the day. Okay, so we'll bring this out, and you'll see how beautifully that has cut that out. So we can just pull this out and detach this from your base. And then you can take these extra pieces, just pop those out, and then typically this is your border die. This is the piece that I use to give you the darker frame underneath. So you'll see on this one, I just attach that piece underneath, and that gives you that beautiful green background. So I'm going to show you how to color this grape image from the Italiana grapevine stamp set. You can kind of see on the back what's in this specific one. This collection really comes with a lot of very unique grape images, Italiana Rivieras, leaves, and all that fun stuff. So I'm using the dark peony chalk ink, first of all, using the Dove blender pen. And I'm just going to color this in first. If it's very dark, I might just kind of blend off to the side a little bit. So just kind of blend in that first color. I stamped this with black memento ink. It's actually a tuxedo black memento ink. And this kind of gives it a quick, very nice shaded look. So if you're looking to color the grapes, this is one of my favorite color combinations for these. Just kind of this deep, dark peony in the background. Then once I'm finished, you can just brush off this color and make sure that's off. And then I'm going into the color called Concord or Concordia, and just adding a little bit of a darker purple. Now this is really, really dark, so I don't like to get too much on here. So that berry got just a tad too dark. So I'm just going to tap lightly on my ink pad, brush off a little bit, and then come back onto my grape. So that just adds a little bit of a two-toned effect. You'll see it's very dark. Just come back onto your grape. So if you're looking to color these grapes, this is kind of the color combination I use. I'm using the Dove blender, and for these leaves I use the Lime Pastel chalk ink along with the Cottage Ivy Memento ink. So that completes the grape coloring, and you can really see how many different ways you can do. This one was just stamped with the Concord as the base and then the Cottage Ivy with the leaves, and it gives a completely different look. That's the same way with this grape. To add a little bit of texture and dimension to these grapes, I like to use some crystal lacquer. This tip is plugged a little bit, so let's just open that up. I use a pin and just kind of unplug it, kind of unclog it. Crystal lacquer tends to do that very quickly. So you can just go back and just add little drops of this crystal lacquer on top of these berries. Crystal lacquer adds the perfect accent. It's kind of shiny, a little bit like fingernail polish. Just put that on, and then you have these very lifelike grapes. So within the Italiana Riviera collection, the first stamp is the Italiana grapevines, and that has your basic grape cluster along with all these beautiful ivy and grape leaves. And then this is the coordinating die. So with this one, there's quite a few different samples I have here on the table with it. That is kind of the border. You've got the grapes with it. You've got the little ivy leaves entwined with it. You can also kind of just see these background leaves. So there's a lot of very intricate work that you can do with this specific set. On this card, you also see the background stamped with the ivy leaves and just a light embossing powder and colored in. Another one, we showed this earlier, is the Italiana grape clusters. This has your border, then another grape spray with ivies, the small grapes with leaves, the wine bottle, and wine glass. This is a card that I wanted to kind of showcase with. This is kind of like a belly band for this card, so you have that border. Then you also have this grape border stamped on top along with grapes clustered, and this flower as well. All these cards will be online with instructions. Follow the links in the video description. You'll get to those. This is also a beautiful border just stamped in white, embossed in white, and that was using the Italiana grape border stamp set. There's so many different samples from the design team. I kind of don't know which one to go to next. It's like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. This is the Italiana grape clusters. This is the other stamp set that coordinates actually with the die that I just showed. So Italiana grape clusters, you'll see that on the back. So with this one, I have these beautiful cards. This one was done by Candy. So you have this sitting in here. Here you have another one with a wine bottle and the glass. Here's a beautiful one. This one actually will be in the card kit. So you have this beautiful scene within the circle. Here you have the wine bottle and the glass within the scene. This is the Chateau Gate in the background. And this is a beautiful, beautiful card, just showcasing the grapes from the paper, the wine bottle, flowers, and the little grape clusters. This is another fun stamp set. I love this one. This is the Italiana script. This has this grape border in the background, and then you have this script background. With this, here's a beautiful colored card, and then you can kind of see that within this collection, the beautiful papers along the back. And we've also got the Riviera Gateway. This one is stunning, just colored with with your Dove blender or whichever coloring method you prefer. This is actually that same stamp just out of the paper, clustered with the leaves. Here you have that image as well, along with that image over here. So many different examples and different ways that you can work with them. We also have the Italiana Riviera with this one. That stamp has a sentiment, friends like wine get better with age. And that saying was in here along with the Italiana script in the background. So there's so many different ways you can work with these. There's three other samples I want to bring up real quick. Here's one that has the grapes and ivies clustered along the side. This one opens up a little bit differently. And then I love the Chateau Gate with the wine bottle and the scene in the background with the grapes clustered all around it. Then last but not least, we've got the beautiful papers. If you like the grape colored purples, your greens, you have so many different fun card front panels, 6x6s, journaling tags, and all that fun stuff within this paper. You can see the more detailed papers within the collection preview page or when you look at the product on the website. I hope you find these tips extremely helpful. If you have a crafting friend that you know experiences these issues as well, feel free to share this video with them. In the video description, I have some links to the products used in this video. If you follow those links, there will be related project samples, so you can click on those and you can get a lot more inspiration on different ways that we are using the products that you saw in this video today, which is extremely helpful and helps you maximize what you can do with some of the stamps and dies that you may already have. Thank you for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.